Set nearly 1,000 years before the events in the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion and the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls Online lets you take part in the stories set within the compelling history and deep lore of the Elder Scrolls franchise. Designed to be played exactly the way you want to play, you can start wherever you like, with no level restrictions and no subscription required. This massive world is yours to explore, alone or with friends. Choose a favorite location or storyline and jump in. From the capital cities of the Three Alliances to the magical Somerset Isles. From the Khajiit territory elsewhere to Morrowind, the home of the Dark Elves. From frozen Skyrim in the north to the endless swamps of Blackmarsh. Adventure is everywhere. Are you ready to forge your own legend? Options for creating and personalizing characters in the Elder Scrolls Online are almost without limit. Choose from 9 different character races, with a 10th race option available as an add-on. Select from 6 unique classes and customize them to fill exactly the role you want to play. Want to create a high elf sorcerer who wears heavy armor and wields dual daggers for close quarters combat? Why not? Or maybe a Redguard Dragon Knight who prefers light armor and a bow? It's completely up to you. Earn skill points as you adventure across Tamriel to improve your character. Then master and customize your skills to match your style of play. As you explore the world, keep an eye out for sky shards. For every 3 of these rare crystals you collect, you earn a bonus skill point to spend on your character. The in-game skill advisor provides recommendations on how to best spend your points at each level, based on the different roles available to your character. And you can always reset your skills and reallocate your points whenever you visit a major city, so you can build and play the exact character you imagine. Go anywhere, do anything. That's the freedom presented in the Elder Scrolls Online. The game scales your character to the content, so explore in a dark cave or mysterious forest. Adventure on your own, or with friends, even if those friends have wildly different levels or belong to different alliances. Dive into the rich and varied story content as a solo player, or join a group to take on the most dangerous dungeons and boss monsters in the world. During your character creation, select one of the 3 alliances competing for power in this era: the Daggerfall Covenant, the Ebonheart Pact, or the Old Mary Dominion. Each alliance features a unique and compelling storyline, but your choice never precludes you from playing with friends of different alliances. The Elder Scrolls Online is designed so you can travel anywhere at any time, no matter your level or alliance. Tamriel is a dangerous place. When you cannot sneak or talk your way out of conflict, you have to fight. The Elder Scrolls Online features an action-based combat system, reminiscent of the classic Elder Scrolls games. Use your skills, special abilities, and a combination of light and heavy attacks to defend yourself and your allies while you obliterate your foes. Unleash powerful synergy attacks when fighting as part of a group, and use block and dodge to reduce damage and avoid enemy attacks. If you prefer sneaking to direct combat, you can use stealth to evade detection, get around obstacles, or even set yourself up to unleash a potent surprise attack. Even the best solo player needs a little help now and then. Use the group and activity finder and the friends list to team up with other players for a dungeon or other adventure. The Elder Scrolls Online community is extremely welcoming to new players and invites them to join in. Our players go out of their way to help new players and show them the ins and outs of adventuring in Tamriel. This is especially evident within player guilds, a great way to meet others and develop lasting relationships that enhance your game. Join a guild to trade resources, tackle group content, or simply chat about the latest revelation of lore. There are also in-game guilds your character can join to receive new skill options and special rewards. The Fighters Guild, the Mages Guild, the Dark Brotherhood, and the Thieves Guild are all accessible through story content. And for a real challenge, join the Undaunted and earn a unique skill line and extra rewards for tackling group dungeons. Dungeons present some of the most difficult and dangerous content available in the Elder Scrolls Online. From the small dungeon delves that challenge solo players, to group dungeons that require 4 players to take on, to the ultimate 12-person trials. These strange and wondrous places offer amazing visuals, complex battles, and compelling opponents unlike anything else in the game. Once your character reaches 10th level and you have a better understanding of the game, the Elder Scrolls Online gives you the option to participate in a variety of player versus player, or PvP, content. Duels offer a more intimate PvP experience, where you can test your skills or try out a new character build in one-on-one combat against another player. Battlegrounds present short, intense combat as 4-person teams take on 15-minute battles to earn achievements, experience, and special rewards. Alliance wars are large-scale battles where the 3 alliances fight for control of the imperial capital of Cyrodiil. With siege weapons and massive armies, fight to capture and defend and win the day. While you adventure and explore, don't forget to collect the valuable resources you find scattered throughout the world. These items can be used to craft weapons, armor, food, potions, and accessories that you can use to improve or further customize your character. Develop your skills in one or more professions and improve them by completing specialized crafting writs. The professions include alchemy, blacksmithing, enchanting, clothing, woodworking, provisioning, and jewelry crafting. The Elder Scrolls Online provides players with the ability to own and personalize homes for their characters all across Tamriel. Homes can be acquired by completing quests, purchased through the Crown Store, or bought with in-game gold. Houses consist of single-room abodes to multi-chambered mansions. But nothing beats the opulence or grandeur of a manor house, complete with luxury accommodations for your character and up to 24 guests. Home ownership doesn't end there. Craft furnishings and accessories to personalize, improve, and decorate your home. There's never been a better moment to jump in and start playing the Elder Scrolls Online. With access to a multitude of adventures all across the width and breadth of Tamriel, and the freedom to play wherever and however you like, it's time to begin your Elder Scrolls story.
Welcome to ESO News. Thanks, Maribel. That's a great thing. Looking in here into some Elder Scrolls news, we're going to be discussing ESO Online and some phones that are required for us to be connected on the internet. Really, the truth is coming out. Phones were never meant to be on the literal internet as a connection. As I'm finding out, it's a little bit more difficult these days to get connected to phone service. I have phone service and an internet service, but the phone lines are not exactly working properly. So I'm going to go over that in a little bit. Gonna get into the patch notes here. I was gonna see if you guys see the patch notes. Yeah, it's maddening not having a working phone. Let's see here. So we have the pre-template of 9.3.5 as we are currently presenting the version 9.5.6. So looking in here, we're going to get to 10.0.1, but it's going to take a little while, and that is the hope that we're going to get to version 10.0.1 here before the June release of Goldroad. It's a great thing. Welcome to the Elder Scrolls Online version 9.3.5. As we have a number 9 and our first DLC for 2024, Scions of Athelia. This DLC features 2 challenging new 4-player PvE dungeons. Oathsworn Pit is a training ground for Malakath's Chosen. And the God of Curses demands you enact revenge on behalf of the fallen. Oh, don't worry about that when that's said. The God of Curses. In Bedlam Vale, located within the demiplane of Maelstrom, you'll find cultists have invaded, and it's up to you to defend this ancient vault and the mysterious relic it protects. Completing these dungeons gives you the chance at obtaining a new number of item sets, collectibles, achievements, and more. As part of the free base game update, we've added 3 new PvP item sets that are earned from Rewards of the Worthy. In addition to a new antiquity, we've also unified gear repair kits to aid any inventory woes, and siege equipment will also now stack. Whatever that means, I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it's good. Undaunted key rewards have been increased, and we've also updated graphics settings presets and the minimum specs for the game. We hope you enjoy this year's first DLC, which is approximately 2.26 gigabytes in size and is increasing or is being invisibly before your very own eyes that you don't see. We want to make sure these things work, so that's the important thing. With table of contents, new features, updates, big changes, Scions of Athelia DLC game pack, 2 new dungeons, new item sets, achievements and titles. Update 41 base game is moving along to where we get to update 42. Long road ahead. Unified repair kits, stackable siege weaponry, new rewards for the worthy, new antiquities, new collectibles, increased undaunted key rewards, tutorial updates, new furnishings, new container icons, UI font rendering, mean spec update, updates to graphic settings presets. So those of you guys going over from Forks, moving over to Port Angeles here for tonight's game, that's going to be a thriller. It's going to be real fun as the team is gearing towards Oathsworn Pit. That's going to be a sweet thing. Going over to Sword Singers Redoubt, you get into the pit. Combat and gameplay, combat and abilities, itemization and item sets, companions. The new companions in the next chapter are going to be some sweet companions, I'm sure. Now, I'm not going into the next chapter specifically. However, I assume those new companions in the next chapter are going to be pretty sweet. With fixes and improvements, chapters and DLCs, base game with new features, updates, big changes, DLC game pack, 2 new dungeons, Oathsworn Pit. For centuries, the secluded retreat of Oathsworn Pit has been a proving ground for followers of Malakath, honing their martial skills in the shadow of the Daedric Prince. A band of wood elves calling themselves the Recollection have recently arrived with an ultimatum. Join their army or die. Bending the knee to these usurpers would draw shame in the eyes of Malakath, and battle commenced. Now the lodges of the pit stand against the recollection to free themselves from the shackle of servitude, but do the wood elves have another motive? Bedlamvel. The workshop of Fa Nuit Hen Bedlamvel has been invaded by a mysterious force calling themselves the Blind Path and led by an imposing Daedra known as the Blind. Her forces have seized control of the workshop, searching for an artifact of great importance, the Echoneer. Fa Nuit Hen. Ever delighted by surprises and tests? He is amused by this intrusion, and could he remember what the Echoneer was? Or where it was? He would undoubtedly seal it away. One thing is for certain, the artifact must not fall into the hands of the Blind and her forces. Oathsworn Pit and Bedlamvel are 4-player dungeons which can be reached via the Riok and Rothgar respectively. Oathsworn Pit's entrance is in the northern section of the Riok. The entrance is north of the Juradok Mountains Wayshrine. Bedlamvel's entrance is located in western Rothgar, north of Siege Road Wayshrine. Both dungeons include a normal version in addition to a veteran version. Each dungeon features challenging hard modes for each of their 3 boss encounters. There are unique item sets, including 2 new Undaunted Monster Mask sets, only available within the dungeons. Unique achievement awards are available for completing the dungeons, including the following. Unique skin. The blood marks of Malakath are available for those who complete both Oathsworn Pit and Bedlamvel on at least veteran difficulty and trigger the achievement Scions of Athalia Delver. 2 unique mementos. The Malakath Helm Haunt and Echoneer Examination mementos are available players who complete Oathsworn Pit and Bedlamvel respectively on at least veteran difficulty. Unique die. Artifact Hunter Amber is available for those who complete the Retribution Takes Time achievement. Several titles, unique housing items, new item sets. We have added several new item sets and monster masks to acquire from the Scions of Athalia dungeons. Bedlamvel, light armor, blind path induction. 2, adds 1096 maximum magicka. 3, adds 4% healing done. 4, adds 1096 maximum magicka. 5, increase the strength of your damage shields by 13% to targets 15 meters or closer to you. Increase your healing done by 13% to targets more than 15 meters away from you. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? We're getting down to the last number. Can you feel it with medium armor? Tarnished Nightmare. 2, adds 657 critical chance. 3, adds 657 critical chance. 4, adds 657 critical chance. And that ends that there for us. I'm hoping you guys are having a good drive. As we're switching gears here over into the daily login rewards, as those of you guys in your consoles are going to be receiving a Scale Caller crate. It says here, Scale Caller whatever. Scale Caller crate is what you guys are going to receive, and I don't know why this is in there, but I'm gonna have to redo that. So you guys can enjoy here where you're going to be receiving the Scale Caller crate. Where are you going to receive the Scale Caller crate? That's a good question. So it's time to get into the game and also look at what we have going on here today. What do you think? What do you think is going on with today's technology in the system? Well, we're kind of learning here, and those of you guys in Elder Scrolls are going to learn a gob of information as we're gearing to go over into Twitter and learning what the 4 set items are for today. That's going to be a great thing. What I'm doing here right now is I'm going to show you guys what's going on. I'm going to show you have here. This is a T-Mobile cell phone. Okay, it's a flip phone. Flips up. It's a flip phone. This right here is another cell phone. Okay. And see, this right here is another cell phone. Here, as you can see, this is another cell phone. Now, all of these cell phones do not function properly. Some of them call out 911, and then some do not call out 911. That's a problem. Right over here in the device here, an N-Gage is not capable. This has actually been the problem from the Y2K problem back in the early 2000s. And we thought we had that problem fixed. Most people were saying, they're like, oh, that's not going to be a big deal. That's not going to be a big issue. Coming down the line has come to me. Look at what's happening. We're having all sorts of problems in connections. So there's all sorts of things happening. There's going to be some of you that can't get onto a cell phone, cannot use a cell phone. Then there's others of you that cannot use the internet at all. Then there's some of you that are just confused onto why you can't use something. Well, I'm gonna show the purpose of here of what I'm talking about, of the reason why cell phones cannot be on the internet, even though sometimes the cell phones of today are capable of getting on the internet. I'm just going to explain what's going on. This is a T-Mobile cell phone. I went over to the local T-Mobile store and they could not get the cell phone working. You might laugh at them. That's not really funny because T-Mobile couldn't get the T-Mobile phone to work. That's not very funny. Now the problem here with the T-Mobile cell phone currently, I inserted the little chip called the SIM card. The SIM card worked. I called out 911, and 911 was showing a different pinpointed location rather than the location here. Do you see what I'm saying? This would happen with the same thing to you as has happened to me. What I'm saying here is that T-Mobile is not able to pinpoint the exact location of this cell phone, as it's not turned on. I don't have the cell phone turned on. However, what I'm saying is that there was a different pinpointed location that was showing from the 911 operator that had seen the location. It was a couple miles away from where I am right now. So that's a problem. When we have emergencies and when the emergency personnel cannot find us, this could be anybody. If you are having an emergency, this is literally going back to the problem that had occurred back in the early 2000s of what's called Y2K. There have been people who've said that it was just a horror story, a made-up horror story. No, it wasn't a made-up horror story. There were people who were trying to add letters into the literal system. So what I'm talking about, how important it is for us to combat what's going on. Those of you that have agreed to the Y2K bug, you are not going to be allowed to be involved in certain parts of connections. This is a sucky thing because you're looking in here, you're getting on, you're like, I can get on, but no, you can't. If you agreed to the Y2K bug, what I'm going to explain here is that inside of T-Mobile, okay, this is the difference right here of what I'm explaining. Where right here, this cell phone, these two cell phones are both Alcatel. Right here, and this on the right hand side that you see, like my hand moving, this is a flip phone cell phone. Okay, this is supposed to be just for phone calls. You see what I'm saying? This cell phone is supposed to be just for phone calls. However, the cell phone has the capability of getting on the internet. I'm going to show you guys what's going on here in the cell phone. Now, I don't know if this is connected to the Wi-Fi or not, but it's showing here what is it? 3:55 or something like that, or 3:32 p.m. Okay. I'm going to check the time here. 3:32. That's the correct time. Now I'm going to show you what I mean by the reason why we can't have. There's going to have to be some things changed to where we get just like either if it's flip phones or if it's a big gaudy like just regular thing to call out. That's what we're going to have. The problem that I'm seeing is that with us having the capability of having internet on there, that's an intrusion of going into the devices. Wow. So what I'm talking about is cell phones can't do everything. They can't go into the internet completely. And so what I'm talking about with this is I shouldn't have to buy a new cell phone. Well, this is coming down to where we should not have to buy a cell phone. Now, what is going on with that? Of course we have to be able to call out 911. You might be looking at, what are you talking about? What I'm talking about is that our connections have been disrupted. Our connections have been intruded upon. And it all goes back to over in the Y2K bug that had happened. What had happened is there was misinformation that was transmitted. What happened is the assumption is that few users were intentionally adding misinformation into the system because they wanted to see that would work. They wanted to see that a Y could be a Y. Well, Y is the only letter that is Y. That's why. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You might be laughing right now, and you just got disconnected. So with this, what I'm talking about right in here, this is the real cell phone that is connected right now to T-Mobile. Do you hear what I'm saying? This is the real phone that is connected to T-Mobile. Now it shows right here, up here, that emergency calls only, network locked, emergency phone calls only. Now there's not a problem with us being able to call 911. That's a requirement. We have to be able to call 911. However, I'm going to show you guys what happens, and this might not happen right away, but this was happening, and this is the actual problem, and why I'm explaining that a phone should not be internet capable. We should not have a phone that's capable to get on the internet. Right over here, this right here, it's asking for the SIM unlock, and I've tried to 5 different times. There's 5 more remains on the SIM unlock, and so what I'm talking about here, how do we get into the phone if we can't unlock the phone? This is the problem. We're locked. You see what I'm saying? T-Mobile is literally locked. Like, we can't have people who are not in T-Mobile specifically going into a cell phone such as this or other T-Mobile cell phones. Do you see it? Do you understand what I'm saying? There cannot be outside users of T-Mobile going into the device. You see what I'm saying? Where the internet should not be available on this phone. So with this can make an emergency call. Obviously, that's a blessing. That's a good thing. However, we need the phones to actually function and call a place that we're trying to get a hold of. Whether we're trying to get, whether you are trying to get a literal job, or whether you are trying to call up, whether you're trying to call up the supposed T-Mobile 1-800-1877 number, or I'm just using T-Mobile as an example because that's the carrier that I've chosen. Like, that's the basic only chosen carrier that's kind of all around the place. That's why I chose T-Mobile. The problem here that I'm seeing is that there's some miscommunication. There's some misunderstanding of what actually has to occur. What I'm explaining here of the reason why the internet should not be in here, this is for the sake of you guys that are Elder Scrolls players. Dude, we will not have an actual connection. We won't even be able to play the game if these things keep on getting intruded upon. We have to have the correct information inputted, and if somebody thinks that they're cute by putting in misinformation, such as the previous bug that came in from the Y2K glitch, this is a very, very maddening thing, and so I'm speaking for many on this subject because that might not have been, you guys might not have been affected here in the recent past, but you're going to get affected here in the future from the remnants of Y2K. It's a very serious thing. The Secretary of Defense has already explained that there was going to be some nightmares from this, and this is the effects going on with that Y2K bug of those jerks that came into the system and has given us nightmares. This wasn't affecting me in the years past, but now this is affecting me. And so I have to communicate the importance of having proper running devices, like a proper running device to where you can at least call out to a friend, to a place of business that you might be trying to buy something from, maybe a place of business that you are trying to get a job from. This is what this is actually involving. And so what I'm explaining with Elder Scrolls is that we have to have the internet running properly for a connection. There's a distinguishment and discernment of phone lines and internet lines. You can't have both internet lines and cell phone lines going into just a cell phone. There's not enough memory to actually capacitate what's going on, and that's the reason why some people are not allowed to get onto the internet. And if you are one of those that have been getting onto the internet that are not supposed to, you're going to get caught sooner or later, and you're not going to be able to get on the internet anymore. You're like, well, what can I get on? You might be thinking that I'm not for sure. If you've actually messed up, you're gonna be caught, and that's the sucky thing. If you've actually repented and you're trying, sometimes that's a sucky thing when you look at it. Sometimes it takes just sometimes this takes years to get redeveloped. Do you understand what I'm saying? We can't have both cell phone lines and internet lines on just a cell phone. I'll show you why here. The correct time is showing because the Wi-Fi is connected, but the Wi-Fi is a direct connection, or we're like connecting up. Sometimes a temporary connection, but not a permanent connection. You can't go like you can't go outside of an area. Like say like outside of this box, like look, there's nothing. This is like the basic like connection, like the line of where like the example the connections can occur. You know, like being in this from here point A to point B for example. What I'm explaining, from point A to point B, you can't get to point C because there's a block. You see what I'm saying? There's a block. So like trying to get from point A to point B, you can't get to point B because there's a block of some sort. And that Y2K was that block. And we have to overcome that block by not using the internet on our cell phones. When I was over at the T-Mobile store, all I saw was phones that were geared towards the internet. They're not geared towards being able to make a phone call. What I'm explaining here with the importance of us to be able to make phone calls to a friend, family, this currently can't be done because there's been misunderstanding on multiple parties. And this all goes back to the Y2K bug. I have to explain this again and again. This is not going to be funny, and for some of you guys that are laughing at everything and want to get together, like have a party and say, "Hey, this is going to be okay. We're going to get this going." It's not, and this isn't going to be so pretty when someone like me says, "Hey, you can't be in there," and you're like, "Why not? Why not?" And then when the things are explained of the reason why you can't get onto a cell phone, you'll understand a little bit more of why you can't be on a cell phone. There's various reasons. Some of the reasons I don't even know. If I could get you on a cell line, I would definitely get you on a cell line. But if you were intruding on the internet, such as thinking it was funny going into an email just to see what that was like, to go into an email account or go into a game account. So going further on to the reason why like internet Wi-Fi should not be allowed on cell phones. So I'm going to go in here, right here. This is the regular thing that you see like on a regular cell phone. Going in here, like this is regular. Typing in the code that has been put in to the cell phone to to get this cell phone on, but it has the SIM locked. This is the problem here. There can be multiple things that can be done to get this device running. However, I'm not for sure if that will be. Look what's happening. T-Mobile had told me that the that these devices were not capable of sending out phone calls. What that means? This cell phone that goes away. This cell phone goes away. This cell phone goes away. This cell phone goes away. See what I'm saying? Where are our is our cell phones? Even with the 2-year contract that T-Mobile is offering, that's a great thing. However, 2 years from now, is the same thing going to happen to the flip phone that is happening right now? So I'm just going to explain here in the cell phone here that's connected to T-Mobile. Right in here, I'm going to show here. This right here shows connected to test. Okay. It shows here the time as 3:48 p.m. Tuesday, May 7th. Now, when I turn this off, okay, so I turn that off. Turn the Wi-Fi off. What happens here is you might see this as 3:48, or and it's showing Tuesday, May 7th. However, as time goes along, what's has happened, I've noticed the device here as it's turning over to Saturday. This is that remnants of what has happened from previous years of the Y2K bug that had occurred. What happens to this cell phone with it not being connected to the Wi-Fi? That's not a problem. This phone is not. Huh. So this phone is not connected to the Wi-Fi. So where's this connected to? This is connected to the emergency network. Is what this is connected to. This is pretty sweet to see though. Like I can't see that like with my own eyes, but I can see this from the picture that's being presented here to you guys. Not for sure why this is switching over to where it's saying Saturday, but I do know that we have to have separate lines functioning. We have to have separate lines be separate. Like cell phone lines have to be separate from internet lines. That's where I'm on that. Hopefully we can get these things figured out, and hopefully you guys are having a really nice drive as you're getting out, hopefully to Port Angeles here tonight from Forks. Hopefully you guys are having a good drive. I will be right back. Just got back here. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying your drive. Got to speak a little bit about a couple of things about the problem that is occurring. Now, I'm going to explain here about the cell phone here. This is the original T-Mobile cell phone. Now, before anything was connected, before Tess is completely connected for Elder Scrolls, the problem here that I'm explaining is that I never did give the phone number that was associated with this phone in the past. I never gave the phone number to anyone. However, in T-Mobile, the only people that had the phone number was the company. Now, who gave the phone number to outside organizations? That's the problem. Why were there phone calls being sent over through text message and phone call by people that I have never met, who I didn't even know? How did they get in to that phone number that was associated with this phone? That's a good question. So we're in here in Twitter right now. We're going to look into the 4 set items that are available. That's a serious discussion about why people were going into the internet that weren't supposed to. So if you weren't supposed to go into the internet before, if you are one of those people, you're not going to be able to get on a phone line or an internet line. That's a sad thing. So I'm gonna go over here into ESO Online and going to check out the 4 set items that are available for us to see. In Elder Scrolls, there's nothing that can be hidden from us, and that's what I'm explaining for the information that is being communicated. We have to know these kinds of things. There's not one individual person that is an Elder Scrolls player that would intentionally go into a system that they weren't supposed to. Every single Elder Scrolls player will not go into another person's account intentionally unless they have to. So looking here, I am connected to ESO Online. This is a good thing. I love this. Tamriel to Moonbiscuit. Tamriel to Moonbiscuit. That's the engage. That is so cute. I love that. To see if Moonbiscuit is able to communicate to us. And so over here on Twitter, and we all see this. Okay. Moon biscuit. Oh, Moon Bishop. Moon Bishops. Moon Bishop. Okay, so it's not Moon Biscuit, but I call it Moon Biscuit. Okay, Moon. Okay, so looking in here, this looks like the picture. Looking here, that looks like the picture. That's a good thing. So Moon Biscuit, Emerald Moon Biscuit. Yeah, Moon Biscuit's there. And the next up is Abner Thorn. Abner Thorn, you are busted. Abner Thorn talking statue is being looked at. We want Abner Thorn to work. Hi, Abner. Abner Thorn. All right, Abner. Abner's here. Abner. Tamriel to Moon Biscuit. Tamriel to Moon Biscuit. There's Abner. Oh, Abner, you're so sweet. And the next item set that is being looked at is the Shadow and Stone. What is the Shadow and Stone? What is that for? That's a good question. Okay, so Shadow and Stone is having a little bit of problem. Oh, maybe Moon Biscuit in here. Tamriel to Moon Biscuit. So go back here and check, make sure that ESO Online is connected. So we're connected over in ESO Online, but Shadow and Stone is just not able to be seen just yet. Shadow and Stone is not responding. I'm going to go in a little bit more. Make sure ESO Online is still logged in. One more thing to be done, but I don't know what is going on if this does not go in. There, Shadow and Stone is going on. Emerald to Moon Biscuit. And looks like we have one last thing with the Flame Autronaut crate. Have you gotten your Frost Autronaut cake box set yet? Flame Autronaut crate sets are 5,000 crowns for those of you that are looking to buy one of these. So that's something to look forward to. Autronaut crate is great. All right. Tamriel to Moon Biscuit. Tamriel to Moon Biscuit. Yay. Got the 4 sets going on, and looks like what we're looking to look further into is the Shadow and Stone. So I'm going to look in here into the Shadow and Stone here for us. So the furnishing pack, Shadow and Stone, available for you, those of you that are non-ESO members, for 4,000 crowns. Those of you that are ESO members, available for 2,800 crowns. Available on PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Macintosh. So this is a Shadow and Stone. Saying here, by my hand, blood enters the marsh. By my deed, the marsh is fed and grows fertile. By my silent watch, the hist may thrive. Honor my doings, O Sithis, or my brethren show me but fear. Guard me not, O Sithis, for only my strength honors you. Moves off a Shadow and Stone. I'm gonna leave this on here. Hopefully you guys are having a good drive. This is some really good stuff. This is off of ESO Online here currently, to where you can see the information. Available for 2,800 crowns. if you're an ESO member, and 4,000 crowns if you are a non-ESO member, if I remember right. Look into it in ESO Online. Go into Akazu's ESO over on Twitter, and you can find out more information on Shadow and Stone, as that's what we're working on to get the connection better connected for us. Hopefully you guys are having a good drive. I'll be right back. Hopefully, you guys are having a good drive. I'm gonna kind of speak about a little bit about what you're gonna want to buy in ESO. What I'm explaining with the importance of buying types of things like Shadow and Stone is this will build up the cell phone lines. This is a this is a complex matter of what I'm talking about with the connections. If you are a ESO member or non-ESO member, it's more importantly if you are an ESO member, you're going to be taken care of in the area of ESO Online. And not only that, you'll be further connected. You see what I'm saying? You can't just copy a picture, say over on Twitter and Akazu's ESO. You can't just copy the picture and say, "Hey, I've got this great color that I just copied." You can't do that. What I'm explaining is the importance for you guys to actually buy things like the Shadow and Stone or the other four set items in the Crown store that was just presented in Akazu's ESO. When you go over and you say, "Hey, I have that," but you don't actually have that if you haven't bought anything. It's not even a if you bought something in a related piece. What I'm talking about, the difference between Zelda and Elder Scrolls, we can't we can't combine as much as some of these things would be nice to combine some of Zelda game graphics. Not going to be able to happen because what we have to use for in future game graphics, such as in the next chapter of Gold Road coming in, we have to use the old graphics that we had previously, and we have to expand upon the graphics that we do have. All in all, it comes down to not only buying having a coloring board, but also have it like buying what's being presented, such as Shadow and Stone. That's a great thing to further our connections to where we all get paid. So what I'm talking about is if you're looking into this today over on Axig's ESO, or if you're looking in this today over on ESO Online, all of these things, you've got to pay for something. If you don't pay for a phone line, you've got to pay for one of these things in an ESO Online Crown store. You aren't going to be able to survive if you don't pay. So what I'm explaining here on the outside source of what I'm talking about getting the phone lines working, this is going to get our phone lines working. However, in an abstract form, you kind of see what I'm saying? Just buying the Shadow and Stone isn't going to directly get all of the connections working. It has something to do with getting the connection in, but it's not a full connection. This involves buying the things like Shadow and Stone to where you can be connected. If you go into a place and you're just you copy something and then you show that as your form that you did something, and you think you're deserving to get paid for copying something, not entirely true. There are some places where if you're copying information and you're creating a different set, such as a depiction of a scene, sometimes that can be seen as like being able to get paid. But what I'm explaining here in this form, if you don't have a phone line and all you have is ESO Online, you want to make sure that you pay for things like Shadow and Stone. That's an important thing. Think about what's going on with me. There's 4 cell phones that are workable, yet they're not actually functioning. some of the cell phones can get on to the internet through Wi-Fi, but there's no calling capability. Do you understand what I'm saying? We're not going to just call 911. We want to call different places like Besta or Zos or a local grocery store that we can see if something's available. If you don't have a phone line, what I'm explaining here, which is the horrible part, is how do you know you're even connected if you're not connected to being able to call someone? 911's not gonna buy you Shadow and Stone. That when you call, hey 911, I need you to buy Shadow and Stone for me. They're like, oh, what's your emergency? You need to buy Shadow and Stone for me. That's when things get a little bit more fuzzy, and they start wondering, why did you call 911? That's all I could call. No, that's not true. That's not true. Now, how are we going to get the phone lines working from Shadow and Stone? Well, an abstract way is by paying for Shadow and Stone. This is gonna be a sweet thing here. Looking into the different things here for the next chapter. Now, I don't specifically know if Shadow and Stone is related outside of the next chapter. When these things are presented, we're kind of assumed that these things are for the chapter that is being presented. So how, if you buy this, how is this related? What do you know about Shadow and Stone? Well, we know that this has to involve with Sithis, with the Dark Brotherhood. When we were looking at the Dark Brotherhood DLC, this looks like this is related to the Dark Brotherhood, the Dark Brotherhood DLC. Now, for those of you guys that are looking into buying something, just as a general thing, I'm going to go in here to the game button again. And this looks like this is more for those of us that are quite possibly an overall player or someone that's not getting into the next chapter of Gold Road. So I'm just explaining that where we can look at what will help us, whether it's Abner Tharn talking statue, the Shadow and Stone, or the Moon Bishop's Sanctuary, the furnishing pack for that that individual Moon Bishop's Sanctuary. Right here is looking like this is the place that you guys are going to want to actually buy here today. If you're not going into the next chapter, this is definitely something that will help. Not sure exactly what will help here with the Flame Astronaut crate. The Flame Astronaut crate is available here for us for how much? For 5,000 crowns. Now, how much is 5,000 crowns? That's probably more around like $39 or $49. But I'm going to check this out and how much this actually is. Check it out here. Elder Scrolls. So what's Abner Thorn going to do for you? Well, Abner Thorn's going to talk to you. So what was that? 5,000 crowns is the Flame Astronaut crate. I'll check it out here really quick. Yeah, 5,000 crowns is what this is being presented as. So 5,000 crowns. Let's see here. what's available for you guys for 5,000 crowns. The crown store, what you're going to be spending is $39.99 with some tax that's involved. You will be receiving 5,500 crowns for buying the $39.99 for the Flame Atronach crate. That's something to look forward to. So depending upon when you can get this, that's unknown. If you can get that today, that would be great, and that will help me out tremendously by you guys buying a thing like a Flame Atronach crate. So I'm going to go in here a little bit further about, let's see, how much is, what was that, Shadow and Stone? Shadow and Stone. What was that? The 4,000 crowns or something like that? Or 2,800 if you're an ESO member? Yeah, that's what the Shadow and Stone is. However, does this relate over to the game series that you play in ESO Online? This looks like a pretty good deal. Getting the Shadow and Stone. So it kind of depends on like if you have the necessary crowns, or if you don't. If you don't have the money, when are you going to be able to buy these types of things? Well, tomorrow's coming up, and there are some of you that can buy these types of things. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick break here. Hopefully, you guys are having a good drive and learning a little bit more about Elder Scrolls, where we can become better connected together. Just got back here. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying your drive. I'm going to explain a little difference here in cell phone technology to where we need certain devices to function. So, what I'm going to explain here in today's current technology, what we have is the touch pads. What I'm talking about is electronic touch pads. And with that, that's not good enough for having the electronic touchpads. The electronic touchpads are good in a certain form, but not good enough for getting us totally paid. So what I'm talking about with you individually, if you can, please chat. This is a first step showing you're approved. So right here, I'm showing here where it says welcome to chat. This is your first opportunity to actually write some messages. And so that's what I'm explaining in here. I'm gonna go into this into a further explanation of why we don't want to have electronic touch pads in making a phone call in Elder Scrolls individually. Um, and I don't know why on some of the most of the cell phone stores where they don't have the key functionality in the devices. Now I'm going to show you the device that I'm working with right here. Now this is one of the cell phones that works through Wi-Fi, and also it can work through the cell phone networks. However, is not is not functioning properly. I don't know why the airtime is not working. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm paying for the airtime. However, the airtime is not functioning in here. It's not involving like getting onto a Wi-Fi. It's having a network, a running network that is functioning. And so I'm explaining off of this phone. This is what I'm going to use for right now. But what I'm going to explain is what we actually need to process the information to where you guys see the communications on on this side. So not only I get paid, but it will produce a better effect for us later on down the road, to where we can actually chat on a text message to a friend or a family member, but not in this capacity is what I'm talking about. The electronic touchpads are just not functioning. What we're going to have is we're going to have the 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 touchpad that I'm going to show you here in a minute. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just type in a quick message that says hi. Okay, as you can see, the message has went through. This could be for anybody like using their cell phone. For some odd reason, the capability of actually typing in a message in Twitch or YouTube is not available for some. Now, that what is the reason why those messages cannot go through for some? Well, I'm going to explain to those of you here of why we need a touchpad such as in this type of phone. I'm going to show you right here this type of touchpad. It's not the electronic touchpad of what I'm talking about. The electronic touchpad right here is not a fully functioning keypad of what I'm explaining here. This is an electronic touchpad to where typing in messages to where you see the word hi. What I'm explaining with us wanting this type of touchpad to call out is because this is longer lasting for our electronics, such as this cell phone or this cell phone right here. It has the other touchpad where just typing in, as you can kind of hear that. So as far as that goes, get into the chat line either in YouTube or in Twitch and start chatting. Please chat. Um, that will show yourself approved, and that will help you in the future. If that doesn't help you today, that will help you for the upcoming months that you're involved with getting communications in for yourself. When you do that, when you actually communicate on a live line, that's showing that you're trying. Now, if you don't try and you have the capability, well, that's your fault, and that's gonna stumble you later on down the road. If some of you like are trying to communicate in the chat line here, but can't, there are certain reasons why, and I don't know some of the certain reasons of why those are not available. The actual electronic touchpads are not going to fix the problem totally. What I'm explaining with the problem getting fixed is us having touchpads like the N gauge, or a T-Mobile phone, such as with this type of key functionality. Um, so I don't know where much more else to say. I really can't say much anymore on that end. What we have to have is we have to have those types of cell phones that have that keyboard functionality in order for us to truly be able to communicate a message in a cell phone line. This is a different form of a messaging line, and that's involves on the internet. You're going to want to be on a PC or a Macintosh, or a device that is capable, that will be able to chat, such as an iPad or a non cell phone. Is what I'm talking about. Over on this end, over on the like in the like the broadcasting field of what I'm explaining, we have to have a non-cell phone device to where we can communicate. This is not a direct phone line communication. As much as I want the phone lines to be working, that is not possible right now at this current moment. However, in the future, that is going to be available. Now, I don't know the why T-Mobile was not able to get the SIM card working. However, I have hopes that T-Mobile will be available later on through the touchpads, such as you see on the N gauge here. So I'm going to leave it at that. Please chat on the line so you can start getting involved and show your neighbor or show your friends or family that you're trying. If you have the capability, that's an obligation for you to actually chat in the chat line here. If you don't chat now and somebody asks you to chat later on, and if you don't have the capability, you're kind of screwed. Like that's not a double-edged sword. It's what I'm saying is you're not going to be allowed in to chatting anywhere. You won't be able to chat over on Twitch, YouTube. You won't be able to text message a friend even. That's why I'm saying chat now, so you can show that you're at least trying. If you do have the capability of actually chatting in the channel right now. With that, I'm going to take a quick break. Hopefully, you guys are having a good drive and have gotten over to Port Angeles already, getting ready for the game night. I'm super excited for the game night, as we are gearing towards Elder Scrolls 6. I'm so excited. Are you excited for the next chapter of Gold Road? I'm excited all about Elder Scrolls. Hope you're having a good drive. Just got back here and about to end the segment here of ESO news. I'm going to show here really quick here the SIM card has just been changed over into the T-Mobile cell phone. And so what this has is showing the malfunction that of where we're not actually connected. So what I'm explaining here, this is the time that it's showing as 12:01 on, what is it, Friday, January 1st. You kind of see what I'm saying, where the Y2K bug that happened when we don't have a connection. What I'm going to explain here is this is not a permanent Wi-Fi. Right over here, when I switch over to here, which cannot be switched over onto the from the Wi-Fi. This is kind of maddening. It's showing that this is an invalid SIM card. Emergency calls only. The SPCK code is the basic same thing as a SIM card code. It's just in different forms, like a network SIM unlock. So we're gonna have to get these things working, because cell phone calls cannot be made. Our devices will not be able to play Elder Scrolls games or any other game for that matter. Of what I'm explaining with this, the purpose of getting the cell phones working properly. This is a T-Mobile cell phone and has a T-Mobile Live SIM reader inside of the device. The airtime is already paid, but not functioning properly. So how are we able to make phone calls? How are we even able to get onto the internet? I'll show you again right here. This right here is where the code has to actually be inputted. We can't even get into the Wi-Fi part of the device to actually get the date and the time programmed correctly. So what I'm talking about here with the importance for us having the codes be able to be unlocked, that's the important part, to where we have the correct time, the correct day, and to where we can actually have a permanent connection. We can go into the Wi-Fi through other SIM cards, but however, that's a temporary connection. So what I'm explaining with the importance of us being able to make calls, having the airtime going out into the different towers, that's the important thing for us to be able to be connected. This is involving both getting the phone lines and the internet lines working properly. If we don't have those, we won't be able to survive. And so what I'm explaining, those of you guys that are supposed to pay in those proper channels, please pay that. And if you can't pay me off of your device, pay somebody here today to where they can pay me, and to where I can get the connection to where it gets the connection to us. You see what I'm saying? This is an important thing. This is part of the media field, to where we're connecting up. We can't connect because of the certain things that have happened years ago, and things like in 2000 when the system was changed over. That is not something that I was looking forward to. I didn't understand it completely. When I saw some of the stuff, I didn't agree with some of the stuff, but I went along with what was going on. When these things don't properly run, boy oh boy, we've got some problems. We can't even call 911. We cannot even make a phone call. See what I'm saying? Like, if those of you guys as Elder Scrolls players, if you don't get the proper tools, you don't have to have every little bells and whistle. But you do have to have the proper connection to where you can connect up, because that's with having the proper connection, that's going to permanently connect you to not only yourself but me as well, and then we'll be able to be connected. You understand what I'm saying? Hopefully you do. Hopefully you guys have had a good drive, and this is some good stuff. Gonna look into going off the screen and then um, present the thing that's going on with the Necrom. If you are a Necrom player, you always love the ending of this. This is kind of a little late. It's not too late, but what I'm going to explain here is this is a presentation on the ending part of the segments of where you see the current running series of Elder Scrolls. As we're gearing towards the next chapter of Gold Road, we have to take care of the current chapter that we're in right now. I'm not specifically in Necrom. However, I have played bits and pieces of Necrom. Going further in, hopefully you guys have understood a little bit more and you're able to get into the game a little bit more. That is the hope, to where we can be connected and we can permanently be connected. I'm super excited about getting the phone lines working and to where we can have a permanent connection. That's an important thing. If you don't have 911, or if you can't call a friend or a family, you're pretty much screwed in life. And that's what I'm trying to explain, how you need to pay for those proper channels in order for all of us to be connected. Not only myself, but other people's as well, along with yourself. Hopefully you've had a good drive, and check out the game night here later on tonight as we're gearing towards the next chapter of Gold Road and into Elder Scrolls 6. Hope you have a good day. out of the screen, otherwise the boogeyman's gonna get you.